Good morning, everyone. On this cloudy Saturday morning, June 11th, 2021, I find myself driving through downtown Altoona, Pennsylvania. To my left, which you probably can't see, is the Railroaders Memorial Museum. There will most likely be a video of that this weekend. If not, there will be one from another trip. We'll see how the weekend goes. This morning, and I'm a little distracted here because I can't get Siri to talk to me as she gives directions. I am driving to Horseshoe Curve, and that is the main reason. Well, oh, now she's going to make noise. You know, guys, I'm pretty good with tech stuff, but this in-car navigation and I just don't get along. So bear with Siri as she interrupts the video. I usually don't use GPS navigation, but I have absolutely no clue where I'm going. And I studied the map, and it's not the most intuitive thing to try to find it without Siri being a pain in the ass. So Siri is going to help in whatever way she can. Anyway, the purpose of this drive is actually not to, believe it or not to visit Horseshoe Curve and watch trains. It's not open for the day yet for visitors. But it is 8:28 a.m. as I'm recording this. And this is just going to serve as an introductory video for the weekend, plus a bit of a scenic drive. I know this downtown is not particularly scenic. It will get a lot more scenic as soon as we're out of the downtown. But I am here for the YouTube meetup hosted by JPVideos. It's a 2-day meetup. And today, Saturday, we're actually going to be going to Lakemont Park, which is just south of the downtown. And then tomorrow, we're going to be visiting Horseshoe Curve. And I'm sure we're going to be doing a lot of other train things as well. So like I said, JPVideos is hosting the meetup. I know Nick and Nikki from Nick's Crossing are going to be there. I know Matt PG is going to be there. I'm not sure who else is or is not coming, but we will find that out. This is the same group I've met up with a couple times now that you're starting to get to know from my Centralia videos and from the recent ride on the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. JPVideos, Matt PG were there. Also, Alan from Revenge of the Apocalypse came to that one. From what I understand, he is not coming to this weekend meetup. I'm just supposed to go straight on this road, apparently, and I don't know how you get the thing to say, turn left here, or, you know, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe next driving video. Sorry, this thing's really distracting. Because you got to hear the little bong, and then you got to look down at the phone, which is not a good thing when you're driving. This is a 2012 Tacoma. It does have Bluetooth connectivity, but I noticed a couple iOS updates ago, yeah, it decided it just didn't want to play as nice with the phone as it used to. And I don't know if that's supposed to encourage you to buy a new... I don't know if that's supposed to encourage you to buy a new car or hold on to your old phone forever and not upgrade. I don't know. Maybe they're laying the grounds for the rumored Apple car, of which I probably couldn't afford one anyway. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. This is my first time in Altoona as an adult. I have visited Horseshoe Curve before as a very young child. I cannot remember if it was one time or 2 times. It was definitely at least once, and I actually have the souvenirs to prove it. My memories of it are extremely vague, though. Rail fanning goes way back to my childhood. My dad's a big rail fan. We always had model trains in the house. We were always... Did I make the right turn? Yes, I did. Okay. he had HO model trains. When I got a little older, he built an N-scale layout for me and another for my sister. We were always riding trains. We were always watching trains. He was always filming trains. I really, even though I have some very, very early childhood memories, I cannot tell you the first time I saw a train. I mean, I usually remember firsts. It's kind of a big thing for me with memories. I cannot remember my first real train or model train, and I can't remember that because they were always there. They were always present in my life. In fact, the house that I grew up in, before the fields grew in, you used to actually be able to see an active siding from the back window. So I grew up watching trains. My parents have video of me in the playpen watching trains out the back window. I know he has a video of me. I had to be about 2 years old because my mom was pregnant with my sister. He has videos of me operating his model trains. I would actually love to get my hands on those videos someday. That's another matter. So I have been to Horseshoe Curve, and there's a sign. I don't need Siri. Hey Siri, cancel navigate. Yeah, she doesn't want to cancel this. Hold on. And shouldn't. Everything's supposed to be hands-free. I shouldn't have to pick up the phone to cancel it. Anyway, Siri has been banished for the duration of this ride, because now there's signs to Horseshoe Curve, and I am going to drive past it and through the tunnel, and I think I have the route that I want to follow after that memorized, because now I'm on winding, hilly country roads, and now I feel at home. I'm not a city person, if you haven't already figured that out. These country roads are very much my thing. So we had been to Horseshoe Curve as a kid. My sister and I talk about that sometimes. She does not remember it. She's 2.5 years younger than me, and given that my memories of it are extremely vague, doesn't surprise me that she doesn't remember it at all. This particular trip to both Horseshoe Curve and Lakemont Park and the Railroaders Museum, I was actually actively planning this trip last spring. I had scheduled a week off from work in April of 2020 with the intention I was going to come out here, spend a couple days in Altoona. I was going to go a little bit southwest and visit Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water House, which I've been there once before, but I want to go back for the longer tour. That happens to be my favorite house on planet Earth. Interesting little trivia there that has nothing to do with this trip, but I do love that house, and I do love Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture. And then, if there was time, I was also going to go to Northwest PA to the Kinzua Rail Bridge, which it's now a state, I believe it's a state park, not a national park. I think it's PA State Park. It's a huge steel railroad viaduct that was half demolished by a tornado. So half of it's laying in the canyon floor, and the other half of it is structurally sound, and you can actually walk out onto it and look over the edge. So that's something that's been on my bucket list for a while. So all of this was in planning for April 2020. And if I need to tell you why that didn't happen, you really need to be a little more tuned into world events. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because now we are entering the Horseshoe Curve area. Off to my left is the big reservoir. There's a couple of little reservoirs and lakes. I think this is like the big one, and then as we get closer to the curve, there is a smaller one. And I do love these roads. Gosh, these roads remind me that I really need to get my Toyota MR2 Spider running again, which was also something I had planned to do last year. Again, if you don't know why that didn't happen, I can't help you very much. But man, that car handles like a go-kart on these roads. Sometimes I'm always driving this truck and wondering why I'm driving this. Don't get me wrong, this is a much more practical day-to-day vehicle, but yeah, the MR2 would be a lot of fun for trips like this. So this, I'll talk more about Horseshoe Curve when I make the videos specific to it. I don't have all the facts committed to memory, but it is basically considered one of the best rail fanning places in the world. As the name implies, the track is shaped like a horseshoe as it tries to climb the mountainous terrain. There's a big change in elevation from the north side of it to the south side of it. And if you stand, at the visitors area, which is kind of in the middle of the curve itself, some trains these days, they're running them 10,000 to 15,000 feet long. I mean, that's almost 2 to 3 miles. And when you get one of those trains coming through the curve, which they do often, you can stand in the curve and the train literally just wraps around you and you still can't see either end. It's a pretty cool thing. I watched there's a YouTube channel called Virtual Rail Fan where they have live cameras at a lot of rail fanning places throughout the country, and even though they have a lot of great selections, I just constantly find myself watching the Horseshoe Curve one. And they say the trains come on average about one every half hour. Now, they don't come at nice, neat intervals. And there it is up ahead. I don't see anything running through it. So basically up into, and that's pretty cool. That's one of those ellipticos. You don't see many of them. To my right is the track straight ahead. This is the visitor center. This is where we're going to be coming tomorrow. And then to the left is the track. And nothing is running right now. And the visitor center is not open right now. I mean, in fact, I can't even pull in there. They actually have the gate shut. Right up ahead, above this traffic light, is the tracks. There's 3, there used to be 4 tracks. Now there's just 3. There's a little picnic area off to my right. And this tunnel, you can see, had been 2 tunnels. Now it's, 1 tunnel, so hence the traffic light. So that there's not head-on collisions through the tunnel. We're driving under the railroad tracks now. I forget the reason the other side had to be closed. I think it was some kind of structural problem kind of thing. But there's also rumors that that tunnel is haunted. And that's something I'd really like to look into more. It's not something I've really done on my channel, but I do love paranormal stuff. It's something maybe I'll talk about another time. I've had a lot of interesting experiences throughout my life with the paranormal. And some of the channels that I follow, like JPVideos and Revenge of the Apocalypse, if you're interested in that stuff, they actually go out and do paranormal investigations, and they have the K2 meters and all the equipment that goes with it. And they've come upon some really interesting things recently. And I'm hoping to join them on an investigation someday. I probably will not get video of it if I do, only because I don't have the equipment. They typically do those at night, and I don't have any equipment that can really record that. So, not a whole lot I can do there. But, anyway, that's another topic. But you could see from this terrain, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who had to design and build a railroad, back in the 1800s. I forget what year Horseshoe Curve was built, but I know it was built in the 1800s. Like I said, I'm going to get you all that information when we visit tomorrow. It's a major link in the rail transportation infrastructure in this part of the country. That's why it's so heavily trafficked. It's mostly freight trains that go through there, and that's something I really love, watching freight trains. I know most of my videos are passenger trains, particularly up in Jim Thorpe. But my number one love with rail fanning is to watch freight trains, and you never really know what you're going to get either. with them, which is what I think makes it so interesting. The Amtrak train does come through here, I believe, once or twice a day. And interestingly, I don't know, we might catch it tomorrow. I don't know. I think it comes through at 12 something. I have to look. I looked it up last night, and I'll have to look the time up again. It was either 12:05 or 12:50. I think it was 12:50. And I shouldn't say it comes through there at 12:50. It goes through the station in downtown Altoona at that time. So, you know, maybe we'll see it, and that would be really cool because from what I can tell, that's the same Genesis engine and passenger cars, the same ones that I bought my N-scale starter set recently. So it'd be really cool for me to see those in action. You probably can't tell from the video, but I'm really climbing in elevation here, and I actually just felt one of my ears pop, and there goes the other. This part of Pennsylvania is a lot more mountainous. You know, I think where I live in the Lehigh Valley is a lot of ups and downs and hills and whatnot, and it is. I got to tell you, the Lehigh Valley looks absolutely flat compared to, I say this area of Pennsylvania, for those of you not in the area, this area, quote, is pretty much a little bit west of the absolute center of Pennsylvania. I know I'm not too far from the main Penn State campus. I know that's a big deal for a lot of people. They like to go out to the Penn State football games. That's not my thing, but I know it's really, really popular with people. So I think that's probably why most people come out here is for Penn State. And they do have a campus in Altoona. The weather, as you can tell for the weekend, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. We just had a mini heat wave last week and last weekend. In fact, last weekend I went to see my friend Joanne in Lewis, Delaware. I spent the weekend with her. It was a wonderful weekend. It's the first time I saw her in several years. You know, it was one of those cases of life kept getting in the way of us. You know, we kept trying to coordinate time to get together, and we just both had a lot going on, and then 2020 happened, and so last weekend was the first time we got together, and it was just so hot. I mean, I couldn't, you know, we spent most of the time in her place just visiting, which was nice, don't get me wrong, it was nice, but we didn't get to go out and do a lot of the things we wanted to do. I don't handle the heat very well. I succumb to heat exhaustion very quickly, particularly early in the year when I'm not acclimated yet, and that's exactly where we're at. As you can see here, the sun's actually trying to burn through the fog and the mist here. That is what's forecast. Unfortunately, the temperatures this weekend look to be pretty good. The highs are supposed to be in the upper 70s. You know, I know realistically the way forecasts go, we'll probably get into the low 80s, but I'm okay with that. There is a chance of rain both days, and, you know, you almost have to expect at some point you're going to get a shower. I mean, hopefully we don't, but, you know, if we do, we do. There's, you know, not really a lot I can do about it. As far as filming, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be. I mean, I know I'm going to get a lot of videos from here. I'm not sure, particularly for today, what I'm going to be able to offer. I mean, we're going to Lakemont Park. It's an amusement park. I'm actually very excited about visiting it. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. They actually have the world's oldest operating roller coaster. It's called Leap the Dips. It's a side friction coaster, which is very different. I've never ridden one. You know, typical coaster, it rides on top of the rails, and then it has the up stops to keep it from falling off the rails. This looks like, almost like it rides inside of a sort of U-shaped channel where, you know, the sides of the track are kind of built up to hold the coaster car in. It's hard to explain. I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed to film on the rides or not. I've seen videos from people. I know some amusement parks now. I know Lakemont and Knoebels let you film if you have a chest mount for your action cam, and I did bring the GoPro. I do not have a chest mount, and I'm really kicking myself for not having one. You know, and I knew I was coming here. This has been planned for a little over a month. You know, it's kind of shame on me. I know I've been busy. I'm always busy, but, you know, it takes, what, 2 minutes to order it off Amazon? It's a shame on me. I do have the GoPro, and I did bring the selfie stick. And so I have seen, you know, Lakemont Park's not a big park. They have two adult-sized coasters. They have a train ride, which of course we're going on. They have an antique car ride and a couple other small things. And I've seen videos where it appears people filmed, you know, using an action camera on a selfie stick. So I'm thinking it may be possible. So I think if I can do some filming, I will. But, you know, in some ways, too, there's sometimes you kind of just want to enjoy the experience. So we'll see how that plays out. For Horseshoe Curve itself, this was the other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys have noticed from my last couple of videos, I have been using a different camera. Well, I'll tell you the equipment I use. All of these driving videos are filmed with it's a windshield mounted dash cam. It's Transcend 230. It's the only dash cam I've ever owned. I absolutely love it. It's done great video for me. Excuse me, it's a little early in the morning and my throat's still dry and I haven't had my coffee yet. Don't worry, I'll do all that back at the hotel. So anything you've seen from inside the truck is done with this action cam. Most of my videos when I'm out and about, I filmed with my iPhone 10. And I gotta decide. I feel like I'm just taking 22 back to the hotel. That was the plan. That doesn't sound very scenic. But I think in the interest of time, that is what I'm going to do. I'm also just trying to get the lay of the land. This is an area I see myself coming back to. It's about 3.5 to 4 hour drive from home. It's not around the corner, but it's also pretty accessible, and there is a lot to do out here. So I think I'm just going to take us on the highway. I know it's not as interesting, but as I mentioned earlier in the video, I really am old school at the navigation. I really like to just look at a map, commit it to memory, and get on the road and drive. I really don't care for GPS navigation. Maybe I just haven't had the right GPS yet, but I think it's a pain in the ass. Pardon my French, but I do like navigating the old way, even though I love technology. So alright, back to technology. I wanted to talk about the cameras. So, if you've watched my Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway ride, my 2 Centralia videos, the first of which I actually should have posted all by itself. Funny, this channel just runs itself, no work on my part. Should have posted at 7 o'clock this morning while I slept. And then there will be another, I still have to edit it, the second Centralia video, probably for Wednesday. And then next Saturday will probably be the biking video I did in Lewis, Delaware. And then you'll get this video, and then you'll get a bunch of Horseshoe Curve videos. Those prior videos I mentioned, I just bought a DJI Pocket 2 camera. Personally, I'm very happy with it. It's a very small, kind of almost a little stick kind of camera. And it has a built-in gimbal, which really helps smooth things out. I bought it because it's very easy to operate and use. I have a gimbal for my iPhone. I have absolutely hated it, mainly because it just doesn't like to connect to the iPhone. When it does connect, it's great, no complaints, but there's connectivity issues, and there are some other challenges with it. The other problem I have with the iPhone is I bought it before. The iPhone 10 is almost a 4-year-old model. I bought mine almost 3 years ago. In fact, I bought it the day after they announced the iPhone 10s or whatever the next year's one was. That was an interesting story of going to the Apple Store and trying to get, and succeeding in getting a discount on the outgoing model. Apple as a whole is not a fan of doing that, but for the record, I did get it at a discount. That's a whole nother story. And but I bought it before I was doing YouTube. In fact, if you had asked me at that point would I ever do video or YouTube of any kind, it would have been hell no. I don't want anything to do. You know, I loved watching YouTube. I don't know why, I had no desire to film, I had no desire to edit, until I started filming and editing, and then I was like, hey, this is fun, let's keep doing it. So go figure. But sometimes you do have to just try something. But there is a problem. I bought the 64 gig model because I really was trying not to spend a lot of money, and 64 gig is a lot of space until you start doing video. And so that problem gets mitigated because I upload everything to iCloud. Well, that works great until you're in an area that doesn't have internet. Guess what area around me doesn't have internet? Well, doesn't have the LTE connection. Lehigh Gorge. Guess where I spend a lot of my time now? Lehigh Gorge. Guess what area I was filming some great video of a steam engine last year, and my phone let me know that its memory was full and couldn't film anymore. Yep, that's right. Lehigh Gorge, riding behind 425. So I kind of wanted a camera that had more memory, but more importantly, that you could swap the SD cards out should you happen to film one. And so everything about this DJI was perfect. It's very light, very portable, very easy to use, which is extremely important to me. I'm not a professional photographer, videographer. This is truly just a hobby for me. And this camera, to me, is the perfect combination of quality, portability, storage capacity, ease of use, you name it. Anyway, enough about the DJI. I will do a video of it. I wanted to get some use out of it before I did a review. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. If you watched my Centralia videos, if you watched my ride on the Lehigh Gorge Railroad video, and if you watched my Lewis, Delaware video, what did you think of the quality? The other thing this camera has, I had bought the Creator Combo, which also included a wireless mic, which was something else I had. If anything, I apologize, I have to learn I don't need to shout into that thing. When I would do iPhone video out in the wild, part of the reason you don't really hear me talking in a lot of my exploration videos is I'm trying to film with the iPhone, and then you have to shout to get a crappy quality audio into it. It was honestly easier for me to come home, if I wanted to talk, dub it over it later, or just put music and captions or whatever it is I do. With this new camera, I can just talk at a normal voice, and I think it records very well. So anyway, I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Now, what will I be using this weekend at Horseshoe Curve? Well, at Lakemont Park, if I do anything, it's going to be the GoPro. Maybe use the DJI just to get some overview of the park, we'll see. But the GoPro has the durability for the rides. I do wonder if the DJI is a little fragile. I don't know. I don't want to risk it. For Horseshoe Curve, it's going to depend on the weather. The one thing about the DJI is it's not waterproof. And so, now, I brought, I have a really cool jacket that I've had, for almost 2 decades, that I've worn to many races where it's rained. And it's actually a jacket from a Formula One team. The same thing that their pit crews used and their personnel used, and well, not their pit crews, not during the race, but their mechanics and crew would use. And let me tell you, it keeps you dry. And I brought that, so I am filming at Horseshoe Curve, rain or sun or snow or whatever. I'm filming. If it rains, I'll have to resort to the GoPro or even the iPhone. The iPhone 10 is water resistant. The GoPro, I have the older Hero 3, which I'm plenty happy with, but I don't have any sort of stabilization device for it. I just have the selfie stick. Boy, my ears really pop now coming down to the lower elevation. Sorry, that's actually a little distracting. I'm going to keep this going all the way back to the hotel, only because there's something really cool just around the corner from the hotel that I just think would be cool to include in this video. And, sorry about it, this is a long one, but you know how I get. I'm always like, oh, I'm just going to do a quick 15-minute video, and an hour later I'm still running my mouth. So if it rains at Horseshoe Curve, I'm going to have no choice. I'm going to have to use the GoPro. I would prefer to use the DJI. They supposedly make a waterproof case for that. I don't know quite how that works with the gimbal, since that moves and rotates and whatnot, but that's something I'll have to look into. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't plan to do a lot of filming in the rain. Anything I do closer to home, if it's raining, I'm just like, well, I'm not going to go do that today. I'll do it on a day it's sunny. Or at least cloudy and not raining. So we'll see. I can guarantee you're going to get a lot of train videos. I don't know how many trains we're going to see. There's never really a way to know. I mean, they're basically all Norfolk Southern freight trains through there. At either end, if they're going up, going up basically means going from Altoona to Gallitzin and Crescent, and I believe that little town we passed through, I wanted to point that out, I believe that was the town of Crescent, right before we got onto Route 22. I have to look at the map. And there's actually train viewing opportunities in both Crescent and Gallitzin. I don't know if I'm going to have time for that this weekend, but that's on my list. Part of why I'm saying I don't know about my plans is, we're meeting up with all these other YouTubers. I mean, I have no obligation to stick with them, but, I like them, and, probably if they're going to do something, I'll go along. I am officially losing my train of thought. Actually, that was one thing I did want to point out earlier. I mentioned that this trip was planned for 2020. Well, the interesting thing is I didn't know any of these YouTubers in 2020. I mean, I think I'd seen a couple of JPVideos videos just because he's been doing them a while. He likes the same stuff I do. His videos tend to come up. He's a bigger channel, so his videos tend to get recommended in my feed. I know I had seen some, not a lot of his videos. I wasn't subscribed at the time. I had never heard of Matt PG. Nick's Crossing, that channel didn't even exist yet. So I would have been doing this trip solo, and that's cool. In fact, there's the sign for Lakemont Park. That's where I'm going to be coming, in just 2 hours. I'm going to have breakfast between here and there. There's a really nice baseball stadium off to my right. I don't know who plays there. I'll have to find out. Minor league team, I'm sure. Looks really nice, though. So I typically travel by myself, and I'm totally cool with that. I mean, I love having my freedom. I love being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. But I gotta say, I think I only met these guys because last year, I mean, maybe I would have met them eventually, but last year was just so crazy that I spent more time on YouTube than usual, and through both creating videos and watching videos, I got to know these guys. And so I think it's really cool that you know, not only am I finally getting to take the trip that was denied to me a little over a year ago, but it's really going to be even better because, you know, I'm going to get to share the experience with these people, and they're a very like-minded group of individuals. They, you know, they all love trains. We all really enjoy amusement parks. I know that's not something I've talked about a lot on my videos. I don't really get to too many these days, but that was a big thing for me when I was younger. In fact, I used to travel to go to different parks in different states. Will I do that again? You know, I don't know, maybe. It's not really a priority. You know, we'll see. You never know what the future's going to bring. 2 years ago, I didn't think I'd be doing YouTube, but here I am. So, yeah, now we're getting off the freeway. That freeway we were just on, by the way, that was Route 99. That basically runs north-south. It connects the Pennsylvania Turnpike to Route 80. And I came in on Route 80 yesterday. My idea was to take 80 to 99, and somehow, and I really don't know how, it really bothers me, I missed the exit for 99, and I don't know how you do that. It's a major freeway. And, you know, maybe I should have been using Siri. I don't know how much that would have helped, but that's really unlike me to make a wrong turn, so I overshot by considerable distance. Once I figured out what I did wrong, I asked Siri for help, and she found a delightful combination of back roads that actually got me pretty directly into Altoona, and boy, was it a really, really nice ride through some parts. Unfortunately, it was a bit of misty rain. I may or may not do one or two scenic driving videos out of that, and that would be my typical take the drive, set it to music kind of thing. I didn't do any narration. If anything, there might have been a few swear words in there, so we'll just put music over it. It was an absolutely stunning drive. I mean, had it been a clear day, you would have had some vistas that you probably could have seen 100 miles. So it kind of ended up being one of those wrong turns that I was glad happened because, you know, like I said, I'm really at home on those country roads, and I had been, you know, I've had a very busy week, and it was kind of a frantic get packed, get out the door, driving in the rain. I was actually finding driving on 80 to be a bit stressful, and I had to tell you, as soon as I got off on those scenic roads, man, I just felt right at home. I just felt relaxed. So I say maybe you'll get to see them. The maybe is because with a little bit of rain, I don't know what the quality is going to be like. I may load them up on the computer and say, wow, these are terrible, forget it. And I also I'm going to come up with such a volume of videos from this weekend that, you know, who knows, you might still be seeing videos from this trip a month from now, I don't know. Just have to see how it goes. So what else am I going to do? Well, I'm staying in the Wingate downtown, and I don't usually go for downtown hotels. For one, I don't really like being in the city, and two, they're usually pricey. And this one definitely cost a little bit more than staying outside of town, but I actually felt it was pretty reasonable. In fact, now I'm crossing over a huge number of tracks that go through downtown. There's nothing running on them. There was actually a train of tanker cars running on that when I came in last night. But I decided to stay downtown on this trip because I'm literally a block away from the trains, from the tracks that we just crossed over. And if you cross those tracks, and there's a couple bridges to make it safe to do, the Railroaders Museum is right across from my hotel. And I just thought, you know, instead of, you know, what would I do if I'm in a suburban hotel? I'm going to come back to my room and play with my phone. Where here, and I'm not sure what this building on the left is, some kind of government building, but boy, is that nice. You know, I may even just walk around here a little bit. It feels like a very safe downtown. In fact, it's weird. You don't really see a lot of people. It's kind of bizarre. But there's some really neat architecture down here. There's a couple things of interest down here. There's actually a car museum on this right across from the hotel. I couldn't find any information as to whether it's open or not, though, so I want to look into that. It's a small museum, has supposedly 30 kind of classic and pretty expensive cars, so that would be pretty cool. I'm guessing that's probably not going to happen on this trip, but we'll see. But there's plenty to walk around downtown. There's a lot of train watching available right outside the hotel. In fact, I could see them and hear them from the room. Not a great view from the room. This is what I wanted to show you here. This Amoco sign, and it seems like it rotated a little bit overnight. I guess that used to be an Amoco gas station. And it's really neat that they left the sign, even though the red is pretty much faded to a very pale shade of pink. But here's the hotel right here. I think I'll probably just walk and do a video of that. I just think that's really cool. Some old gas station memorabilia. Alright, so I am back at my hotel. I'm not going to function much longer if I don't get coffee and breakfast. So that is going to be my next move. And boy, that guy doesn't... Oh, man. That guy doesn't leave me room to get in. These spaces are tight. There's supposed to be more parking in the back. I guess... Yeah, I guess I'm just going to park back here. That's alright. Walking's good for you. I like to walk. I hope there's a space. Yeah, there's a... Okay, here's spaces. That's alright. We'll be parking closer to the trains. Straight ahead, to the right of that building, that little clearing, that's where you'd walk to go see the trains. So, anyway... And I'm probably going to do some of that this morning. I am going to go get my coffee and breakfast so that I can continue to function. And I may even have some time to walk out there and see if we can catch a train before Lakemont Park. Anyway, thank you for sticking with this extremely long driving video. Riding for you, driving for me. Sorry about Siri being a pain in the butt. But look forward to lots more videos from this area over the coming weeks. Thank you for watching.